Hi, friends. I'm Brynn,
I'm Spooky Kim.
and this is Friends Who Crime.
Do, friends who crime.
Before we dive into today's creepy case, quick housekeeping. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Friends Who Crime for updates, bonus content, maybe some cat pictures. And if you're enjoying the show, please rate us 5 stars on your favorite podcast streaming app. It really helps us out and helps with the algorithms and all of that, spreading the Friends Who Crime family. I am very excited to introduce my guest today. She is the one and only Spooky Kim. Hi,
Bom,
Kim.
bom, bom. Hi.
Kim, tell listeners about you. Tell us about you.
Hi, I'm Kim or Spooky Kim. I just like really creepy, dead, spooky kinds of things, and that has earned me that nickname. I live in the beautiful PNW, serial killer capital, basically. I live up here with my kiddo. We have 3 dogs and 2 cats and 4 chickens.
Wow,
Yeah, I work on computers, and that part's kind of boring, but yeah.
that is quite a life.
Yeah. Yeah, I live in like a really cute little mountain town. It's really quiet. It's super close to my kiddo's school, so it's nice. It's a very quiet life.
That's awesome. You're killing it. So, how do we know each other? What is our relation to each other, Spooky Kim?
We don't um, at all, which is funny. Yeah, so we both have a mutual friend, Morgan. I met her at a retreat last year, and she is just a gem of a human being. I love her so much. Um, and if you talk to me for more than 5 seconds, you'll find out that I love true crime. And she told me about your podcast and told me to reach out, and here we are.
Yes. Morgan was on the podcast. Oh, I don't remember what episode she was on, but she's been on the podcast before. So, people that have listened for a while, you guys already have met Morgan. And she told Spooky Kim about this podcast, and now she's on the podcast. I'm so excited. You're the first guest that I don't like personally have a relationship with,
No,
which is really
yeah.
exciting. Yeah.
That is
It's
super cool, yeah.
very
She told me about
cool.
it and she was like, "Would you be interested?" And I was like, yeah, absolutely. That sounds amazing."
Yes. And you sort of already answered this. What's your relationship like with true crime?
Well, I it feels wrong to say I love true crime, but I definitely have an interest in true crime. I feel like any kid who grew up in the 90s and, like, early, 2000s, you're staying home sick and you're watching, like, Unsolved Mysteries or, and it just kinda stuck. I have a lot of family in law enforcement as well, so
Oh,
it's just
cool.
always kind of, I think, the human psyche is just super interesting, like, why people kinda do what they do, and that's just always been really fascinating to me, so, yeah, and then living up here where I live, you're like, "Oh, Ted Bundy killed people, and
Yup.
people hike here now. Cool." So,
Yup.
yeah.
There's a lot of them that have come from the Pacific Northwest for
Yeah,
sure. It's something in the
yeah.
water.
Yeah, something in the air. It's because the rain, we're just sad up here, so
Oh gosh. So I'm gonna get into my Brinterruption. I wanted to give you guys some true crime news. The Austin yogurt shop murders have been solved. If you aren't familiar with that case, it happened back in 1991, so what, 34 years ago?
Mhm.
I actually had that case on my list of cases that I wanted to cover.
To do?
Yes, and I like had some research done, and then all of a sudden this past week they were like, "Hey, it's been solved." So I don't want to like give away too much because I do want to cover it on an episode.
Yeah.
But basically, what happened is 17-year-old Jennifer Harbison, her younger sister, 15-year-old Sarah Harbison, 17-year-old Eliza Thomas, and 13-year-old Amy Ayers were victims of this guy that we now know is Robert Eugene Brashers. He went into the yogurt shop that they were working at, killed all of them, and then set the building on fire, destroyed basically all the evidence. But they were able to use the new like genetic DNA technology to identify him as the killer. So, kind of exciting in a way. Exciting isn't the right word to use, but it's closure for the case.
They
And
had I remember reading about that like just this week, I think, obviously when the news broke, and they had also, sorry if you hear like weird noises. I have a French bulldog. He's in here.
he's a guest too.
His name is Grim.
Grim.
Um yeah. But yeah, I think they thought it was two other people,
Hmm.
if I remember right. And they like went to trial, I think.
Yeah, so they had originally arrested four men. Two of them went to trial, two of them didn't. And there just like wasn't enough evidence. And this
Oh, yeah.
Brashers guy, Brashers was
Yeah.
not even a thought. Even though
Yeah.
like he was
How
a
crazy.
I know, and he was a serial killer that was active at that time, so like all across the South. I think it was like
Mhm.
Missouri, South Carolina, I think maybe Florida, but a bunch of different places he committed all these like horrible
Florida's another one
crimes.
where they all like to hang out.
Mm, definitely they do. And another thing that kind of
Well,
struck me
cool.
about
Interesting.
it was, yeah, another thing that kind of struck me about it was the HBO docuseries about that case like just came out a couple of months ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
crazy that it just
Interesting.
turned out that
Very
way on the
interesting.
timeline. All that being said, let's get to today's main event. We're going to talk about the case of Elfrieda Knaak. Have you heard of this one?
I have not.
Okay, good. Nice. I was worried because I knew you were into true crime. I was worried you might have
I
heard
was
of it.
like kind of hoping maybe, but then I was like, no, it'd be better if I didn't know and I could like give genuine, true reactions.
Yes, that's what I'm hoping for. We are going to start in late October 1928 in Lake Bluff, Illinois. The city was rocked by a case that even then people called extremely bizarre. A 30-year-old school teacher and door-to-door encyclopedia saleswoman named Elfrieda Knaak was found
Okay.
in the basement of the Lake Bluff Village Hall, which housed the police station, and she was badly burned.
Was it like a city building, like a city hall type of thing?
Yeah, like a city hall, and it had police station, fireman, what is it? Fire station, fireman station.
Mhm.
Good God.
Firemen live there.
So the story just sent shockwaves through the community, and newspapers dubbed her the Furnace Girl. And
Oh.
the story is as creepy now as it was back then. I will tell you ahead of time, this is not solved technically.
Oh,
So
darn it.
there
Okay.
won't be like, a bow on top. But you'll see that there's like a pretty good suspect.
We're pretty sure.
Yeah, just not like officially. Before we get into the night that it all happened, let's talk about Elfrieda. She was born into a huge family. She was one of 11 children.
Whew.
Her father was Theodore Knock and his wife was Elise. and they lived in Deerfield, Illinois. Her father was kind of a big deal. He was the town's first physician, and he set up the first pharmacy in the town. So the family was pretty
Oh,
well
nice.
known. Elfrieda was their youngest daughter, and she was described as shy, sweet, and she was a Sunday school teacher and devoted friend.
Elfrieda.
She seems like a cool person. All the research I've done about her, she just
Yeah.
seems like so wholesome and so sweet. Elfrieda made extra money selling encyclopedias door to door, which like sounds like the worst job in the world.
My nightmare.
She was ambitious and outgoing when she needed to be. So, as a salesperson, you kind of have to be a little
Yeah.
outgoing. She also took a public speaking class in Waukegan to improve her sales pitch. That class was taught by a local gentleman named Charles Hitchcock, who we will hear more about later.
Okay.
Waukegan was a small town on the north shore of the state. So it's a small town, everybody's kind of in each other's business.
Mhm.
But everyone agreed that Elfrieda was kind, they saw her as hardworking, and there was no hint of anything like weird or nefarious, just a normal, sweet person.
Yeah.
On the evening of October 29th, 1928, Elfrieda traveled to Chicago for a sales conference. She finished up there around 6:30 p.m. that evening, and afterward she called her family. According to one source, she was chipper, telling her siblings that she'd be home soon, mentioning she'd pick up some new sheet music for them to play that night. Just
That's cute.
right, so wholesome. Like she's on this business trip and she's still thinking about her family piano night.
Yeah. I also didn't know that, like, the encyclopedia game was so big that they needed sales conferences.
Right? Back in the 20s.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
I
Not a
think of
lot to
the
read, maybe? I don't know.
right? Like how else are they gonna get knowledge? I guess it's books.
Yeah.
Do you watch Friends?
Yeah.
Do you remember the episode where the guy comes to Joey's apartment and tries to sell him encyclopedias,
Yeah.
but like he can only afford
I
one?
Yeah, just one.
Just like the
Could you
V book.
imagine? Could you imagine somebody coming to your house now, like in 2025, being like, "Hey, so I have 52 box or 52 books of
No.
just random stuff. Do you want them or"
Nope. No. I would much rather use ChatGPT, to be honest.
I'll Google it. Yeah.
Right? So
Wild.
she catches a train to Highland Park and then she's supposed to catch a bus back to Deerfield. But something was weird on her trip back. She made it out of Chicago. She took the train. She got off at Highland Park, but the usual bus to Deerfield never showed up. It was
Hmm,
either like broken down or was out of service or something, so it just never came.
mhm.
Instead, she bought a bus ticket to nearby Lake Bluff. She got off at the Lake Bluff Village Hall stop sometime that evening. We're not really sure. It's the 20s, things aren't like super documented.
Yeah,
And after that, nobody saw her again until morning. We,
interesting. What
right?
time was it when she got off? Do we know?
We
Did you
don't know
say?
what
Or what
time
time?
that she got off. She finished up in Chicago at like 6:30, and that's maybe 7:30 she was on the train. Past that we don't really know.
Yeah, so evening-ish.
Yeah, for sure the evening. And it's worth mentioning Lake Bluff Village Hall, she had some sort of connection to it, and she did have a key to get into that village hall.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was nearby where she lived, like super nearby.
Mhm.
Don't know exactly what her connection was, but she did have a key.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah. We also have no actual witnesses who saw Elfrieda on any of the like the train or the bus or anything, or at the
Mhm.
hall once she got there. So it's kind of like she just kind of vanished into
Yeah.
the hall, basically. On October 30th, about 7:30 in the morning, the Lake Bluff Village Hall, which again doubled as the police station, firehouse, town hall, bunch of stuff going on, felt really cold inside when people started to come to work. Like
'Cause of
unexpectedly
death.
cold. Perhaps,
That's what dead
yes.
bodies do.
Chief of Police Barney Rosenhagen and 50-year-old municipal worker Chris Lewis were doing their morning rounds as normal. They thought maybe the furnace had gone out, so Chris Lewis went down to the basement to check.
Mhm.
Chris took his set of keys, unlocked the chain on the cellar door, and went downstairs through the back stairs. There were a few sets, but it was the back stairs that he took.
Mhm.
Chris opens the heavy wooden door and steps into the small, dim furnace room. And suddenly he sees something dark and hunched in the corner.
Yep.
The first thing he thought, which I think is valid, is he thought, like, oh my God, a ghost.
Oh my god.
A ghost.
Worse, it's a dead body.
Hang on for a second. So the first thing he thought was a ghost. He apparently bolted out of there screaming, telling
Same.
Barney that there's a ghost in the basement. But Barney, he's this calm, logical police chief, and he said, "Okay, I'm just gonna follow you down there and I'll bring a blanket because it's really cold."
I'm gonna follow you, but
So they head down there together, and as they step in, this lump of darkness speaks.
oh, no.
It is a groaning female voice that says, "I'm cold."
Oh, oh,
That's when they realize it's not a ghost at all, but a woman, a severely burned woman.
mhm.
So Barney immediately wraps the woman in the blanket that he just happened to bring by
Yeah.
chance and called for an ambulance. He later told reporters what he saw that morning, and I'm going to quote it because it's really vivid. So if you're a little squeamish to like burns and things and you're listening, maybe just hit the little 15-second skip button. It's not too crazy, but it's vivid for sure. Quote, she was standing naked, leaning against a pipe in front of the furnace. Her forearms were burned black. The hair was burned from her head, and her face and her forehead was black with charred flesh, the skull being laid bare at the forehead. Her fingers and toes had burned to cinders, yet she was standing.
Wow.
Like, holy shit.
Yeah. Wow.
She was basically burned alive, but somehow still standing upright.
Still alive. Yeah.
So
Wow.
imagine that pain.
Yeah. That reminds me of there's a case, I think in like South Carolina or something, a girl was burned and she had walked out of like the woods, just pretty described pretty much just like this one. She managed to live like in the ambulance and died on the way to the hospital, but they were like it looked like a zombie. Like you can't
Wow.
fathom seeing something like that with somebody still being alive.
Yeah. I I can't imagine. Yeah. We'll get into it a little more here in a second, but I can't imagine.
Do they know how long before she was found that she had been burned? Like, do they know if it happened, like, pretty recently or
We will get into it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's barely conscious. The building's furnace room had two heating units. There was a big main furnace and then a smaller boiler.
Mhm,
So later, investigators realized the big furnace did not have anything to do with it, didn't cause it. But
mhm,
the smaller gravity fed water boiler, which was only about
mhm.
4 feet tall, not big at all, 4 feet, with a tiny front door measuring roughly 9 3/4 inches by 12 3/4 inches. So, like, not big.
Yeah. Like, a laptop screen, I think, is bigger than that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, slightly bigger than a piece of paper, you know?
Yeah,
And that's important because it shows how small that was, which means
yeah.
at least part of her body fit through that.
Yeah.
On the floor around her, they found her things, of course. She had her watch, a pair of shoes, and her handbag. But notably missing were her coat and almost all of her clothing. The ashes in the boiler had little metal clasps, which they thought might be from lingerie.
Mhm,
So it seems like her clothes were probably burnt in the fire. Makes sense.
mhm.
So, in
Yeah,
short, she's naked, standing in front of the furnace, burned on the front side of her body from the knees upward.
yeah, wow.
Doctors later estimated she had third-degree burns on 30% of her body.
Oh my god.
Ow.
The amount of pain that poor woman must have been in. That's horrendous. In the 20s, I mean, think about, like, medical care back then, like, no hope. That's insane. That's like a war victim, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Like exactly like a war victim. You're so right.
Yeah.
Ugh. Her fingers and toes were completely burned off, and the bones in her heel were exposed.
Ooh.
The worst damage was to her face and head, since she had apparently leaned forward into the furnace. So her
Mhm.
scalp and skull were down to the bone, just non existent.
Yeah. Wow.
One burn mark on the back of her neck showed that she must have at some point bent over with the back of her head resting on the edge of the boiler door.
Mhm.
And that put her face toward the flame. So I think it was
Yeah.
like you lift it up. So she had a mark here
Mhm.
and her face was toward the flame.
Gosh.
So leaning her upper body into the furnace while standing.
Yeah.
She was found alive, like I said, but only barely.
Yeah.
They rushed her to the hospital in Waukegan. She was heavily sedated and she was kept alive by the doctors for 3 days,
Mhm. Wow.
drifting, in and out of consciousness, but pretty
Yeah.
impressive for the time.
Yeah.
So now it gets even more strange. The investigators questioned Elfrieda while she was in the hospital. They couldn't get a ton of details out of her, obviously, from her injuries,
Yeah.
but she did speak faintly, mumbling in agony. But what she said added mystery instead of solving it. At one point, she kept repeating in a weak voice, "It was me. I did it. It was me. I did it."
Interesting.
Hmm.
'Cause I was it's a thought that I had that maybe she, you know, Sylvia Plath herself, but
It
Interesting.
it sounds like she's confessing.
Yeah, but she's also probably on so much morphine.
So much.
Yeah, like, she's not on planet Earth right now.
Yep. But that's not the only thing she said either. She mixed it with other phrases that were also confusing. She kept saying things like, "Oh, hitch, my hitch." And
Oh,
and he pushed me down. And she also kept saying, "Why did they do it? Why did they do it?"
well, come on.
So like in the same breath,
Man.
she'd sound like she was saying that she did
She's a
it.
little more specific with the other ones, you know?
True. Very true. But yeah, I mean, just like back to back, she was like, "I did it. Why did they do it? Oh, my hitch, my
Yeah,
hitch." So like, what's going
yeah,
on? And obviously, Hitch was referring to Charles Hitchcock that we mentioned at the
right,
beginning of our story
earlier.
here. The doctors and police actually kept a tape recorder running 24/7,
Mhm.
trying to piece together her ramblings.
Yeah,
And again, clearly muddled by pain medication, and they wondered maybe something more. On November 2nd, 1928, Elfrieda Knaak unfortunately finally succumbed to her injuries. She died at the
yeah,
hospital 3 days after being found. And if she had survived, maybe she could have eventually clarified what she meant by all of her
yeah,
mumbling. But we never got a clear answer, and we never will.
yeah, no way to know. Wow, what a long time to survive after that.
Yeah. Just again, like the pain, it just like it keeps
Yeah,
coming up for me, just like feeling that
mhm.
in my body.
It makes me sad for her family, like, you said her dad was a physician, right? He was a
Mhm.
doctor? So I mean, I couldn't imagine, like, I have a kid. I couldn't imagine knowing, like, once you're told, "Hey, this is what happened," knowing, like, "Oh, there's no way that they could survive this." Like, knowing that on, like, a medical level and still juggling, like, "Oh, that's my child," you know? That's
Right.
crazy.
I'm sure like such a helpless feeling too.
Mhm. Yeah, and then not knowing why or what actually happened and no way of really finding out.
So, the obvious suspect in everyone's mind, Charles Hitchcock,
Yeah.
the guy from her speech class. And I just wanted to insert this. He has no relation to the director Alfred Hitchcock at all.
Alfred Hitchcock did no wrong, okay?
Yeah, and there's
He's innocent
also
in
an actor from that time period named Charles Hitchcock, also not related.
this. No relation.
Yeah, just to be clear.
Nobody come after us in the comments, okay? It's not them.
Exactly. Charles Hitchcock was 45 years old at the time, married with children, and well known locally. Back in the day, he'd even dabbled in silent films. Again, not related to the actor, completely separate. But he opted to stay in Lake Bluff instead of moving to like New York or LA. By
Hollywood. Yeah.
right. By 1928, he worked as the night watchman for the town. So basically like a security slash police officer kind of vibe. And
Neighborhood watch. Yeah.
he specifically handled the police radio. That was his job.
So he probably had a big ego, is what I'm hearing.
Yep.
Not to judge, but
And remember too, the hall doubled as a
as police, yeah.
police office.
Interesting. And he's You said he's 45 and married. She was 30, so he's significantly older.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Yes,
He's checking a lot of boxes, you know?
that he is. So at this point, police know he's their primary suspect. So they go to his house to talk. Hitch was upset, defensive, but he wasn't about to confess to anything. He
Hmm.
insisted that Elfrieda was just his student, nothing more, and that he had an alibi for that night. According to Hitch and backed up by his medical records, he had a fresh cast on his ankle from an injury a week earlier. The records backed him up,
Okay, Ted
and
Bundy.
right, right, thank you. That's exactly it.
I'm like, okay. Me too.
And a doctor did back him up. His doctor said, yep, that, he's got a cast. It's fresh, broke his ankle. In fact, he said he was on duty at his job, but couldn't have
Mhm.
physically carried her since the cast would have made it really hard to get around. And like,
Sure.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
whatever. Think if you
He
really wanted to, you could. So,
exactly like if you try hard enough.
yeah, I believe in you.
He had a wife named Estelle. Estelle said that she had no solid idea of where he was all night. She told police she had worked a late shift at the music store that she worked at in Highland Park until after midnight, and when she got home, Charles was just asleep in their house. So, not a smoking gun, but not a super strong alibi either.
Yeah.
The investigators were being pulled in a couple different directions here. On one hand, Hitch seemed dodgy, and they sort of came up with this possible motive that maybe he was having an affair with Elfrieda.
Hmm. Yeah.
On the other hand, he couldn't be in two places at once. And he had an actual doctor confirming the ankle cast.
Hmm.
Also, if he really had put Elfrieda in that furnace, how would he have gotten her there with his leg in a cast, down all those stairs, big heavy door, and then locked the hall and gone home?
Hmm.
So it's possible, but, seems unlikely in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. you're
Yeah. Not sold, but okay.
you're picking up what I'm putting down.
Yeah. We don't like it, but okay.
So ultimately, Hitch was questioned extensively, but officially
Hmm.
he was not charged. The police ruled him out as a murderer, or at least they allowed him to what they called assist by confirming his injury, meaning that he wasn't ruled out, but he wasn't not ruled out.
Hmm. Okay.
But plenty of people, myself and I think you as well included, still think he at least had something to do with it, whether
Yeah.
directly or indirectly. His career and life fell apart pretty soon afterwards. He resigned as watchman, and then within a year, he was arrested, not for murder, but for burglary with his son.
No, no, not the family crime.
What a
No.
dad.
Yeah. Father of the year. Okay.
And then he got divorced in 1944, and he always denied that he had anything to do with Alfreda's burning slash murder slash accident, whatever you want to call it.
Hmm. I just the one like she specifically said like my hitch, right?
Yes.
Well, okay. Well, fucking there you go.
Right. Right. And that's where they came
Like,
up with that theory. It was like, she's saying my
yeah,
hitch. Like,
yeah.
And there's the chance there was a little bit of this out there when I was researching that she possibly wasn't even talking about him
Mhm.
or that she was confusing him with someone else.
Sure. For me, it's not a big stretch to okay, you see maybe he sees her outside the hall and she's like waiting for another bus or waiting for a ride or something, like we don't know. Um and he like convinces her, "Oh, come inside. It's October in Illinois. It's cold. Come inside out of the cold while we wait, you know. Let me call home to get you a ride or like whatever." "Oh, weird. The furnace is acting up. Can you come down? I broke my leg. I really need help." Like it's not a stretch of the imagination to think like that she went down there with him, especially if she knew him.
Right.
Like that makes it more believable to oh, this is my teacher. Oh, this is somebody I'm interested in or I'm having an affair with or whatever, right? Like pick a reason, it's believable.
That is a really good theory. Very good theory. And
Thanks.
I do agree. But we're going to go into like if it was not him, let's assume it's not him for a second. Who else could it have
Mhm.
been?
Yeah.
Besides Hitch, who else was in the picture? Investigators broadened their search after they couldn't rule him out. Or, yeah, they couldn't, or could, both, could or couldn't rule Hitch out.
They weren't sure, but they didn't want to take it off the table.
Right. So, among Elfrieda's belongings, they found some personal letters addressed to someone called B. Locke. The postmark led them to Libertyville and a local woman named Mrs. Rock. The police asked Mrs. Rock about Elfrieda, and she admitted they were pen
Sorry.
pals.
I'm just thinking of like Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Oh
Sorry. Oh, okay. No,
no!
we're good.
They're questioning Mrs. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And, she's just casually pen pals with Elfrieda.
So stupid. Okay, sorry. I have like literal tears. Like this is so stupid. Oh, Mrs. Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Okay, I'm good. We're
Yep.
back. I'm good.
All right. So she did say they were pen pals and they were both interested in spiritualism and psychic phenomena, but she denied
Dope.
ever having a romantic affair or knowing anything about her death. Another interview was with a woman named Marie Mueller, who was Elfrieda's best friend. Marie apparently, rumor had it, that she had harbored romantic feelings for Hitch.
Mm.
Under
Mhm.
questioning, Marie shared every detail she had, but again, nothing directly tied her to the incident. But later, like 14 years later, she married Charles Hitchcock.
What?
She did. She did.
What?
So, like, yikes.
Wow. He killed your best friend and you murdered him or and you married him? Oh my
Yep.
god.
Uh,
Worst best friend ever.
right? That's what I'm saying. I would be haunting that bitch.
Haunted for sure. Like, wow. Wow.
So, maybe
Okay.
there was this love triangle going on.
Yeah,
You know,
totally.
shrug, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe.
And after Hitch died in 1964, Marie told her niece that she had been involved with both him and Elfrieda and claimed to know what really happened to her. But she never revealed any details, and those claims can't be proven. So
I
like,
need family members to do more, you know? When somebody says some shit like that to you, ask some follow-up questions. Like,
yes.
"Hey, man, what do you mean that you killed that lady?" Like, I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
It's I feel like a lot of times people think it's a joke when someone says something like that to them. It's like,
Who says that?
don't, that's not a joke ever. Like, don't joke about that. No.
Yeah, no.
Follow-up questions, please.
Yeah, follow-up questions instantly.
So at this point, after Hitch was sort of cleared, the letters led nowhere. Marie said nothing incriminating. Police started to think maybe Elfrieda did do this to herself.
Mhm.
In her home, they found a religious book with a passage underlined about the purifying power of pain.
Mm.
Literally talking about going through the quote, refiner's fire of suffering.
Oh, a little on the nose.
The idea was that maybe she was caught up in some spiritualist belief that if she endured suffering or fire, she'd be spiritually purified for some kind of supernatural love, maybe for Hitch, maybe.
That's psychosis, babe. That's what that is. That's psychosis.
There you go.
Like, that's psychosis. It's interesting, I think, even with what she says, like, now kind of knowing what we know about her best friend marrying him and also maybe, like, from the beginning, right, being into him, she said, like, they did it. My hitch. Like, it could just be he didn't choose her. He chose her best friend, and she did it to herself, you know? Like,
Ooh.
I'm just saying. I don't think that's what happened, at least yet. But my money's still on Hitch, but
No, that is
yeah.
something that I had not thought of because my brain went to like maybe they both were in on it. And like,
Yeah.
yeah, Hitch
Well,
is in
yeah,
the
I think that
cast,
that's
but
a good yeah, I think that's a good one too. I think that one would require more planning, because then you need both of them. Like, what are the odds that both of them are there? And
that's
knowing that she, like,
true.
missed her bus or whatever, right? But I could see but you kinda don't think so either because, like, there's nothing in her letters that would suggest an actual love triangle or that he didn't choose her or even kind of really that they had a relationship at all, but I mean, people do it, you know?
Unfortunately, it happens a lot.
Yeah.
So, newspapers, eye roll, at the time, sensationalized this angle. Surprise, surprise. For
Yeah.
example, an Associated Press story ran under headlines like, Woman burns herself to prove faith in spirit love. They
Oh,
like
lord.
really hooked onto
100
that.
years, not a lot's changed with
Yeah,
Associated Press,
they
yeah.
really hooked onto that spiritualism angle. And it was the
Yeah.
roaring 20s, with mediums and seances being super trendy. Unfortunately, it fit that narrative of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tortured woman weds a cult.
Yeah. Hysterical woman, yeah.
Hmm. The official investigation basically considered two big theories: suicide or ritual suicide versus homicide by someone else. At first, finding Elfrieda alive made people think maybe it was murder. But
Mhm.
then, because she said, I did it over and over again, and they found that underlined book passage, authorities wound up actually classifying her death as a suicide officially.
Interesting.
They basically took her mixed statements and the occult angle as finger quotes
Okay.
evidence that she did it
Yeah.
intentionally, which I don't know how I feel about that.
I'd be interested to know, like, if she had an autopsy done or if they know, like, did she have bruising around, like, to show, like, her head being forced in a thing, you know? Like, did it show that she put up a fight? Like, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of questions that just because it happened 100 years ago, like, we're not gonna know, but it's just in a different time, right? If something like this were to happen now, it'd be a much different case. That's just so interesting.
Yep. And there were a lot of oddities when they ruled it a suicide because logistically the furnace door was so small
Yeah.
to set herself on fire in that boiler, she'd have to slowly crawl partway in, and that's fucking
Yeah.
painful. One doctor at the hospital, his name's Dr. Arthur Rissinger, actually told Elfrieda's family investigator years later that believing the suicide story would be like believing in a unicorn.
Yeah.
He explained that to do that, she would have had to first stick one foot. Oh, hello.
It's my other dog, Dundee.
He explained that to do that, she would have first had to stick one foot in the furnace, hold it there for minutes while it burned, then
Yeah.
stand on that burned foot and stick the other foot in. And then
Yeah, nobody is
finally,
doing that.
right, then you'd have to finally bend over head first and push her arms and head into the furnace, all while
Yeah.
being in excruciating pain.
No.
And he said, this doctor
Nobody's
said,
doing that.
yeah, no human would have the physical stamina or numbness to do that by themselves.
Yeah.
You would pass
You
out.
would pass out,
Yes.
like yeah.
He said, quote,
Yeah.
if she called into that furnace to kill herself, she must have been built like a steel man.
And why not do the other one, you know? Isn't the other one bigger, I would assume?
Mm,
Like, a lot more of you could go in at once if that
yep.
were yeah, nobody's you're not burning yourself limb at a time. Like, it's n no, that's no, it's impossible.
And also remember, the furnace was stone cold when they found her. If
Yeah.
she had ignited herself the night before, it should have still smelled like burning flesh, or at least still been warm. But it wasn't.
Yeah.
The building was locked up, and only a few officials had keys, so who could have turned the furnace on or off? There was even an unexplained smudge of blood on both sides of the furnace room door, which
Mhm.
kind of suggests a scuffle, or maybe she was brought in there, like
Yeah.
after she had already been injured.
Yeah.
And like I said, Elfrieda had her own key to the hall, but it was not on her when she was found. And it was later
Mm.
discovered in her apartment.
Interesting. Okay.
So, how'd she get in? And how'd she get
Yeah.
locked in?
Yeah.
But the coroner at the time took the paperwork from Elfrieda's dying statements of I did it, etc., the spiritualist signals, and so on, and chalked it up to suicide by spirit ritual.
Did the spirits open the door too, or what?
Right? Like, is the spirit in the room with us?
Flicker the lights.
Yeah, it's very like he didn't really try, this coroner.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
And you'll see all of that in newspaper blurbs from the time as well, that like they didn't even really report much on could it have been a murder after
Yeah.
the ruling that it was a suicide. They just kind of accepted it.
And she had no history of, like, mental health issues, right? Like, she
Not
wasn't a hysterical woman or, you know?
not that we know of. Although some people after the fact were saying that, yeah, she was a crazy woman. She had all sorts of problems, but like a lot of other people were like,
Yeah.
no, like there was nothing wrong with her.
Yeah.
I want to read some of these other headlines because they're kind of insane. Um, Burned girl victim of self-hypnosis. Um, Girl dying, comma, takes all blame. Like, who is writing this?
Men.
True. Amen. Amen. And yeah, just like supernatural influence. They're like, a demon influenced her to do
The
this.
demons did it.
Yeah. Hypnosis. She got hypnotized by someone or she hypnotized herself. She was lovesick, so she committed suicide. Like all of these things.
Of all the ways to do it, nobody is picking that way.
No, no. I mean, I wouldn't. I don't know anyone who would.
Yeah, no.
After Elfrieda died, the investigation kind of stalled after those like 3 days. The Knaak, it's Knock. It looks like Knack. It's Knaak. The Knock family hired a private detective because they would not accept the suicide ruling, and I wouldn't either.
Mhm,
That private eye got those statements from the doctor saying, like, this is impossible, pretty much. But he could not turn up any solid evidence of murder,
mhm.
unfortunately. Meanwhile, another bizarre thing happened. Over the next few months, a whole parade of people came forward claiming to have killed Elfrieda.
Of course.
Wild.
Naturally.
There was the chauffeur of a
Why
rich
not?
family, then some random self proclaimed occultist, and even a guy claiming to be an Egyptian hypnotist. And they all swore they knew how she died. There was one man who said he did it on the orders of black magicians, as in like black magic.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Fortunately, though, police saw right through these losers. They were false confessions, seeking attention, and that's all it was. Isn't that wild?
The magicians made me do it.
It was black magic.
It was black magic. Oh, Lord. Okay.
Year after year, the case went cold, and it may have literally haunted the town. There were rumors that Alfreda's ghost walked by the village hall late at night. People claimed if you looked up at the window, you could see her face. There
I hope
was,
that's
right? I hope so too. That's what I'm saying. She needed to haunt Marie.
true. Yeah, haunt the shit out of them.
This case was written about in a national true crime book decades later, but it's called The Furnace Girl, The Mysterious Case of Elfrieda Knaak. Highly recommend that. It has a lot more details than I could get into in this podcast episode. Then in the 1980s, it turned out some of the original case evidence was missing. The coroner's
Weird, that still
report,
happens
I know, crazy. It's just gone. The coroner's
now.
report, the autopsy photos, even some of the items from the furnace all disappeared after the next police chief died. We don't know where they went.
Hmm.
This is a huge pet peeve of mine. I hate when police fuck things up. It's like, this is your job.
Yeah, yeah,
Where did they go? And why? Why are they missing?
yeah.
As far as the locals' perspective, like people of the town, some thought Hitch definitely should have been arrested and charged. Some believed Elfrieda was mentally unwell. Like I was saying, some people were like, she was crazy and went into
Yeah.
psychosis and committed suicide. Others had conspiracies about cults or other hidden lovers, but nobody ever came to a firm conclusion. Still have not come to a firm conclusion, probably, unfortunately, never will. And the case faded into history as a true unsolved mystery and a spooky campfire story for kids of the city. Even today, people say if you're by the old village hall on Halloween specifically, you might catch a glimpse of her. Who knows? Who knows? And that is the case of Elfrieda Knaak.
Wow, poor Elfrieda,
I
man.
know.
What a rough gig. Like, and to not have it be solved. I mean, I'm definitely still in the Hitchcock camp, but it's so hard to really say one way or the other because you don't have like you didn't have really police work, you know? You don't have any evidence anymore. You can't and you're looking at it from 100 years in the future, you know, like wild. Poor Elfrida.
I
She
know.
deserved better.
She did. She did nothing. Oh, well, okay, as far as we know, and I'm going to assume she did
Yeah,
nothing to do with like,
she's a
to
nice
deserve
lady.
this. Yeah.
I hope she's haunting the shit out of that place. I hope she got her revenge.
Right? Right? And like I want to go to there. I want
Yeah.
to go
It
see.
sounds it sounds like it would be haunted as fuck. Like, if there's a place to be haunted, it's gonna be that place.
Yep. Oh, what a ride. What a ride. So, Spooky Kim, thank you so much for taking time out of your night and your life to come on this weird podcast and talk about murder for a little while.
Yeah, anytime. This was so much fun. This is great. Thank you for having me.
So, friends, that is our story for today. If you like this kind of haunted mystery, let me know. Definitely drop me a message at Friends Who Crime on Instagram. Hit that 5-star rating wherever you listen. Let me know, like, give me feedback. I always want feedback, whether you liked something or hated something. Like, let me know, because I can do more or less of those things. And remember, friends don't let friends commit crimes. Bye!
Bye.
That was so perfect.